Polestar, the former performance division of Volvo, is trying to make a run at Porsche. Today we're going to talk about their growth plans as well as some new models that are coming very, very soon. We're over at the Polestar media room. We're going to talk a little bit about their growth and their sales plan in the next few years, but it all starts with product. And so they have a new image here, and we got to break this down. There's more in here than you think. We're going to start from the far left. If you haven't seen my review on the Polestar 2, that was just a couple of weeks ago, make sure to check that out. Really, really like the car driving dynamics. Spot on, the design spot on. I just wish there were more standard safety features. That was the big thing for me, as well as I'm not a big fan of cloth seats. So for $50K, please give us some fake leather Polestar. Anyways, Polestar 3 is on the horizon. It's the first time we've seen the back end of it. We've seen it from the front camouflage. We've seen it from the top at a weird angle. Here it is on the back end. It will be revealed in October, and it also will be available for sale Q1 of 2023. Also, the Polestar 3 will be built in South Carolina on a new platform. We'll go to the spreadsheet and talk about this vehicle as well as a bunch of other vehicles coming for Polestar. But even from the back, this vehicle looks really good, very handsome, very sporty, and it's supposed to be a Porsche Cayenne sort of vehicle and direct competitor to Porsche. This is what's coming just a year after. I expect it to be available in Q1 2024 at that point, which is the Polestar 4, which is going to be more of a Porsche Macan fighter. Obviously, quite a bit smaller than the larger SUV that's going to be revealed here in just a few months, which is a Polestar 3. So a little bit smaller, a little bit sportier, should be just a hair quicker in theory, and should also be built alongside the Polestar 3 in South Carolina at that Volvo plant. And what we have here is the Polestar 5 on a whole new platform. We're supposed to get a reveal here of the Polestar 5 just a day from now at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Now, it's still a prototype because this vehicle won't be on sale. So it won't be on sale for a few more years, right? 2025, probably Q1 2025. So there are things that are still changing about it. But I wanted to break down this more production ready version of the Polestar 5 versus what we have from the Precept concept that came out in 2020. So I'm going to put that image up for you guys to compare so you can see what's going on. We're going to start with the rear window area. Well, the roof is now full glass and it's black. There's still no rear glass, it doesn't look like. This portion right here is also changed from what we see in the Precept concept with the line that goes down. Taillight design is pretty much spot on versus the Precept. The hood design and the lift back crease, you can actually see it on the D pillar now, or the C pillar. And that crease, it just has a slightly different design that goes all the way to the bottom of the latch area. I guess it's paint match, where the crease on the Precept happens in the white paint instead of at the bottom of the white paint, if that makes sense. Also, how we know this is more production ready are two big clues here. We have a reflector on the rear bumper, where we don't on the Precept. We also have actual side mirrors instead of cameras on the vehicle. So at first glance, they look nearly identical. So I think what we're seeing here is going to be very production ready. And in fact, these concept images are actually really, really accurate. At least these patented images. We're over at Motor Trend. So the Polestar 5 got these patent images, and this is pretty much what the vehicle is going to look like. And I think it's going to be very handsome in person. The side profile looks a little weird because it's so raked down in the front and it's so big on the back. But from the rest of the angles other than the side, I think it looks really cool, especially from this angle. There's also some slight differences with the side skirts. You can also see door handles on the rear door as well as the front door. The window trim is much more chunky in the production car, or more production ready car. We also have a traditional window separator here between the two doors, where it's just kind of glass on the concept. So this vehicle is looking very, very close to production. So let's get back to the article here, where we're going to talk about their sales growth, how they want to tackle Porsche head on, model for model, essentially. Not like 911, but definitely the Panamera, definitely the Taycan, definitely the Macan and Cayenne EVs. There are more than 32,000 customer orders for the Polestar 2 since the beginning of 2022, which is an increase of 290% 8% versus the same period in 2021. So demand is definitely there for the Polestar EVs. They are already operating in 25 global markets, well ahead of being present in 30 by the end of 2030. Nearly 130 retail locations are open globally, with 30 more expected to open this year still. So of the markets that have been added since the beginning of 2022, we have the UAE, Kuwait, Hong Kong, Ireland, Spain, and Portugal. And by the end of the year, they want to add Israel and Italy on top of that. If you guys watch the Super Bowl, Polestar also had an ad in it. They spent millions of dollars, right, to be on that ad. They also took a few shots at manufacturers. And Thomas Ingelath is still taking shots here. He says, "We are a real company, not one based on slideshow promises." Definitely targeted to Tesla, I would say, especially with the Cybertruck. Everyone's made fun of the Cybertruck not only for how it looks, but it's always moving the goalposts of when that vehicle is going to be available. Polestar's like, no, these vehicles are coming. Here's when they're coming, and here's what they look like. There are more than 55,000 Polestar cars on the roads globally, and we are launching a stunning portfolio of 3 new models in just 3 years. He said they are all in advanced development stages, and we have the ability to produce great quality cars with our experienced industrial partners. Here again is that confirmation that the Polestar 3 will be premiered in October 2022. And it's their first SUV model. We know what happens to manufacturers when they have SUVs in these times. If you just look at Genesis, their sales like quadrupled overnight once the GV80 and GV70 were on the market. They're saying Polestar 4 will be launched in 2023. That might be more of a paper launch where they announce the vehicle and production starts, but it might not hit customers' hands until Q1. That's just my estimation. And then they talk about the Polestar 5. So definitely stay tuned, because I will have a video for you guys tomorrow about the Polestar 5 EV that's revealed at Goodwood Festival of Speed. So we're heading to the spreadsheet on my other camera / computer because my camera died at the main setup. So it doesn't matter, because spreadsheet, it also gave me some time to revise the spreadsheet. But anyways, Polestar 1, rest in peace, going by the wayside. And there were other variants of the Polestar 1 that actually had more power than this, but don't really need to go into that. Polestar 2, like I said, just reviewed this car, really enjoyed it. Didn't test the performance model, but man, the dual motor was plenty of performance for me. 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Car's fun car. Make sure to watch the review. Anyways, Polestar 3. And keep in mind, now that we're going into vehicles that haven't been officially detailed yet, they've all been announced. They just haven't been announced with production details. Just take everything from here on out with a grain of salt, because the PS3, yes, I'm going to call them all essentially PlayStations because it's easier to refer to them that way. So PS3 dual motor. Could we see a front wheel drive or rear wheel drive of the PS3? Maybe. Probably not here in North America. Maybe for other markets, but this motor is still enough to power that vehicle. But the thing is, when you're paying 60 grand for an electric car, are you really okay with a 7-second 0 to 60 or 7.5 seconds 0 to 60 because this vehicle is going to be bigger and heavier? It just doesn't make any sense. So I think it's going to be dual motor only, especially for North America. I'm expecting over 100 kilowatt hour battery pack and miles of range. I converted what Polestar is saying, like 370 or so. I converted that from the WLTP to the EPA, and we should be getting over 320 miles of range. Now, there'll also be a performance model, and I'm expecting this vehicle to use the same motors that we have on the PS2. Polestar 4 coming out a year later, so Q1 2024, should be exactly the same powertrain, should be the same battery pack I'm expecting from the Polestar 3. Should also be produced in South Carolina at the Volvo plant alongside of the XC90 successor, as well as the PS3. All right, so the PS5 is a whole new world for Polestar. It's going to be a vehicle that's built on its own platform that's never been seen before on a Volvo or even a Polestar. So also this platform won't be shared with any other vehicles outside of Polestar. So Lotus won't get it. Geely also owns Volvo, right? So Volvo won't be getting this platform. They will not be getting these electric motors. They will not be getting this sort of battery pack either. So what do we know about the Polestar 5 other than the image that we broke down earlier? Well, I'm going to bring up this piece right here. So we know this thing is going to have ridiculous power. We know that the P10 motor that they're working on is exclusive to Polestar. It has around 600 horsepower. So I should probably revise this again. So 603, there you go. So 603 horsepower, highest power variant combined with front motor will deliver 650 kilowatts, which is over 800 horsepower. Just lunacy. They will all have a 2-speed gearbox with dual clutch disconnect feature. So when you're on the highway, you can disconnect that front motor or rear motor. Actually, you know, it would be interesting if they would disconnect the rear motor. Anyways, we'll find out later. Super compact. So if they wanted to, they could put 2 of these motors. Now, it says that the max power output will be 650 kilowatts, but I think that if they wanted to, they could put 2 of these motors in there. It would just be absolutely insane. No one needs 1200 horsepower. I mean, depends on who you're asking, right? But 1200 horsepower could be a possibility. And multiple installation options for easy integration with multiple platforms. They could use it in, let's say, the Polestar 3 as well on a different platform. So that's really, really cool. Now let's talk about this new battery pack. Well, it's an 800 volt system. So the PS3, PS4 will be on 400 volt systems. So probably somewhere around 150 kilowatts of charging. But we'll get over 300 kilowatts of charging with the Polestar 5. You can also run them on 400 volts, 130 kilowatt hour possible to charge 80% in just 20 minutes. Bi-directional vehicle to grid charging compatible as well. So going back to the spreadsheet here, base rear-wheel drive Polestar 5 will have over 600 horsepower, and the torque figure is just a guess by me, but it's going to have a ton of torque. 0 to 60 under 4 seconds is what I'm expecting. We know about that 303 kilowatt hour battery, expecting 350 miles of range from the rear-wheel drive, and then as the performance increases, the range should decrease as well because you're adding an additional motor, more weight in theory. So 0 to 60 on the dual motor should be around 2.5 seconds. And if they wanted to put 2 of those P10 motors in there, take you to the moon and back in just 2 seconds. So pretty crazy. I'm expecting that vehicle to also cost a lot of money, possibly even more than what I'm showing here. It should be very competitive with the Taycan. So I'm very excited about Polestar. I don't really cover that many manufacturers. The Asian automakers, from Japan and Korea, and then Volvo and Polestar are really the only other companies that bring a ton of interest to me. I get Volvos for review. Sorry, I do get Volvos for review, but I also have been getting Volkswagens. I don't plan on covering them regularly on the channel or doing news updates or anything like that. At the time of this recording, they just revealed the ID Aero. So that sedan probably will come to the United States to replace the Passat, which I just reviewed, if you guys want to check out that Volkswagen Passat review. Anyways, Polestar should be a staple on the channel going forward. I have no reason not to cover them, especially when I think they're so fun. Not only drive after driving the Polestar 2, but just to talk about, because they're really going to shake up the EV market on the luxury and performance end. Anyways, guys, going to shut it down there. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe for more. Catch you in the next one. Peace.